Hey friends, this is the Johnster Monster with the pilot episode to Shadow and Flame with Magic. Burr 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 burr. Hey everyone, so my name's John Klein III, and I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time. I host the very popular Shadow and Flame with Magic.com website covering all things Kitty Pryde and Lockheed with Gal Pal Magic, and I've been doing that for 9 years now. June 30th is our anniversary. And I know I've been wanting to do a podcast for a long time now. One of my favorite podcasts is Turtle Soup with Ryan and Eric, reviewing all things Ninja Turtles from Mirage number 1 to When the Sun Goes Out. And they were inspired by one of my other favorite podcasts is Uncanny X-Men. Uncanny X-Cast with Rob and Brian, who no longer podcast, unfortunately. But lately I've been getting way back into X-Men podcasts with Ex-Wife podcasts and Oh Gosh, Oh Golly, Oh Wow, which is a Excalibur podcast with 3 scholars. Going for 126 episodes, and then Dr. Anna Picard is in did an episode or two of Simply Amazing with Nightcrawler, or Simply Amazing with emphasis on Nightcrawler. And so I've been it's been in my head now for a couple of days now, or weeks really, about how I was I should turn my love for Kitty Pryde and Lockheed into a podcast. That just seems like everything I want to be doing. And, they do like theme episodes essentially, where I'm I could do that. I don't need to go Uncanny X-Men 129 and then 130 and then continue forward. I can do issue reviews if I want. I could do retro reviews. I could do weekly review issues, though we don't really have a comic book store here in Helena, Montana, but I used to work for Hastings, and before they shut down, they were a pretty good comic book store. And I've said all these podcasts, but I should also mention Comic Book Queer's Legacy, and how pretty much they're my first stop for all things comic books, especially X-Men comics. And the only thing I'm really missing from all my favorite podcasts is a buddy. And maybe I could trick my 8-year-old son, Walker Dennis, into doing an episode or 2 with me. That'd be a real treat. But otherwise, it's just me talking to my phone. And it's 11:56 on November 9th. And I finally was how easy is it to start a podcast? So I'm hoping it's not as hard. Another thing Simply Amazing does is they do 30-minute episodes. And as a child of Turtle Soup, who I don't know if they do an episode that's shorter than 2 hours, but I'm I could start off with 30 minutes every so often. That'd be pretty fun. Anyway, so what can I say? I'm originally from Yuma, Arizona. Lived there from the age of 5 to when I got married, and then a month later, it was a couple months later, we moved to Helena, Montana to be closer to her family. So I have a lovely wife, a great son, and just been an X-Men fan pretty much, I don't know, since the 90s X-Men cartoon came out. My very first comic is Amazing Spider-Man 371, because I started off as Spider-Man fan and just collecting all things Spider-Man. And then I believe Excalibur or Spider-Man 25 came along, the title that Todd McFarlane started, and it got to 25 and it guest starred Excalibur, and I was I like this. And I was I love the characters: Kitty Pryde, Lockheed, Nightcrawler, Captain Britain, Rachel, Gray, and Megan. And I've just been pretty much a fan ever since. And then of course Kitty and Lockheed are not part of the 90s X-Men cartoon, which is its greatest flaw. But I have a theory that they were the stars of Pride of the X-Men, and how they were so crucial to that show, and that show didn't succeed, though I would love to visit the timeline where that at least got a second episode. And they just, went a different route for the 90s cartoon and went with Jubilee instead, which she's fine, but I'm a Kitty Pryde fan. Let's see here, what else do I have? I'm on YouTube. Jacko's III, which is pretty much how you follow me on Twitter and Tumblr and I don't know. Trying to think. I was gonna say Facebook, but I guess that's just my name. But yeah, Jackal SIII, and on YouTube I have a pretty popular YouTube channel, and mostly I make Fortnite videos, but usually I use my created character, Dynamo Dancer, who I modeled into a Kitty Pryde character. I just bought the Aria skin. I think that's how you pronounce it. She's the level up skin for chapter 3, season 4. And she has a cool gray dragon back bling. And so I've just been rocking that. For Halloween or Fortnitemares, they finally gave us the Fallen Heroes set. So I have Joe Terror. I made myself a pretty cool zombie Kitty Pryde character, template using that, so that felt pretty great to do. So I've been rocking that this whole season, but I got over 35, I'm sorry, like 40 recorded Kitty Pryde victories with a Dynamo Dancer skin, and I think 2 victories with zombie Kitty Pryde. And so pretty much I do that on a nightly basis, the daily video or the item shop video. And recognizing, and I'm using Anchor for this because I saw it was a free hosting, so I'm mostly just trying to do an intro video. And I'm recognizing there's no pause button, which would have been handy. And so I was going to use the voice memo thing, but I figure I'll give this a try. What else can I say about me? I'm trying to think. So, yeah, Kitty Pryde fan, X-Men fan. I've watched all the movies. I've watched the cartoons. Kitty Pryde shows up in the Spider-Man and Amazing Friends in 2 episodes. The X-Men show up in the origin of Bobby, or Iceman. And then there's the X-Men adventure, and then another episode called, and that's where I'm recognizing the pause button would be nice, so I can verify, do I have 35 wins for Kitty Pryde? I'm pretty sure I do. I really wish Fortnite would give us a purple dragon again. I'm committed to buying any back or character skin that has a dragon back bling, because they had a purple dragon that was called Scales, but it was a battle pass skin, and once it's in the battle pass, it won't ever come back, which is a shame because I would love to have Laura Croft as a skin. I have it on my son's name, and I'm going to try not to turn this into a Fortnite podcast, but some Fortnite thoughts might pop in there. But anyways, I went ultra cheap, like an old dad, and did not treat myself to chapters 2, seasons 6, 7, or 8. And so I missed out on some very cool Battle Pass skins, including Laura Croft, Superman's another one. And just all the accessories those skins would have had too. But yeah, like Pride of the X-Men, the 90s X-Men, Wolverine and the X-Men. I think that's it, right? Those are the 3 X-Men cartoons. Astonishing X-Men had a motion comic, and that was pretty great. X-Men wise, so I'm a big Paul Smith fan. I'm on record, and I'll go on record on this thing saying that I believe Paul Smith is my favorite X-Men artist. And Chris Claremont would be my favorite writer of the X-Men, but those are pretty easy picks. Like, if you want to make Mount Rushmore of X-Men writers, you're going to have Chris Claremont on there. And then Mount Rushmore of X-Men artists, like Paul Smith would have to be there. And of course, I get the Mount Rushmore idea from Freddie Prinze Jr. and Josh Wolf's podcast, Prince and the Wolf, or Wolf and the Prince. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your friends, Wolf and the Prince. And Freddie Prinze Jr. also has this great Wrestling with Freddie podcast with new co-host Jeff Dye. Yeah, I think that's it. I think those are all the podcasts that I'm listening to. And What Are You Watching with Alex and Nick, my go-to for film podcasts. And then Michael Ian Black had Obscure, whichever one you listen to season 2 with Frankenstein. And I was making my way through that until I this nice guy on Twitter whose name is now escaping me, but he's a big Magic fan, and then he tipped me to Ex-Wife Podcast, who then tipped me to Oh Golly, Oh Gosh, Oh Wow, and then who now got me on Simply Amazing. And so I've been just making slow strides through it. Oh Gosh, Oh Golly. And then I find a podcast to like go back on. And I was doing the Hero's Journey, which is what we say on Turtle Soup, and with Sinisterhood, which is my go-to true crime podcast with Heather and Christy. And I was making great strides on there, but now I'm on this X-Men kick. And just trying to throw my voice into the X-Men podcasting world. So it's here. I'm looking at, in our guest room, we have like 30 short boxes of just X-Men comics, and like 5 boxes that I'm trying to slowly sell to my comic shop, and I need to just commit a Saturday to recategorizing that. But yeah, I haven't bought a monthly comic. I mean, besides Kelly's Comics in Great Falls, which is probably the closest comic book store. But honestly, Comic Book Queer's Legacy's place where I just go for my weekly X-Men fix. And so I've been keeping up the titles there, and then my lovely wife's been nice enough to buy me graphic novels for like Christmas and my birthday. And so I keep up with that. And my Amazon wish list is just full of like graphic novels I would love to get one day. Let's see here. What else am I doing? Or about me? Yeah, so I have plans to like maybe do like an Uncanny issue, or maybe Wolverine the X-Men, the comic book series, Excalibur. Maybe just do, a little bit in the beginning with, what have I been listening to, and what's going new, and then launching into the series or the topic at hand. But yeah, this is just a little bit of who I am. And yeah, it's just Kitty Pryde, Lockheed, Magic, and Kurt. Oh yeah, maybe I should do my top 10 X-Men. So Kitty with Lockheed. Sometimes I like to list Lockheed as number 2, but it'll be Kitty with Lockheed, 2 Magic, 3 Nightcrawler, 4 I probably go Cyclops, and then Emma for 5, top 5, and then Rachel, Storm. Yeah, and then I feel like I don't really have a great bottom 5. Like, I want to put Wolverine at 10, because Walker was quizzing me on that. And then, like, maybe Rogue. And, yeah, I need, like, a solid 9th position. I guess Beast, but now Beast is horrible. And I should say I'm a sucker for original 5 X-Men, too. But, I should say how much I despise Colossus. Just, as a Kitty Pryde fan, it's just hard to be a Colossus fan. Especially as the only good part of Colossus is Magic. So yeah, being a big fan of, and there was a while there, I was buying every appearance of Kitty Pryde and Lockheed and Magic. And Magic was easy because she was only in, she took like 12 years off. So it was easy to collect her appearances. And then she came back. But it's also the reason why I wasn't, like, I love Kurt, but I don't have the money for Kurt. And I used to work for NAU Yuma, and, finally making money or whatever. And, like, I remember going to Mile High Comics and just buying, like, $100 worth of comics. And, like, and sometimes that was only 2 comics. Because I really wanted Uncanny X-Men 129. And then, first appearance of Kitty and the first appearance of Emma Frost. So that comic has Like, thankfully, back in, I don't know, 2002, that comic wasn't worth as much. But now Emma's such a famous character now, like, beloved. So, I think we just hit the 15-minute mark, so I think that might be a good test pilot for this app, and then I will try to be a little more informative. But yeah, ideally I'll do this once a week, and I got lots of ideas, hence why it's midnight, and I am talking to my phone. But thank you so much for listening, and hopefully you will subscribe, and we can see where we go from here. All right, everyone, bye.